I tell you what, man, I've been waiting for this game for quite some time. Like you, life is boring without a match, right? Whether you're Exeter, or whether you're Wrexham, it doesn't matter. It's boring without a football, isn't it? You're waiting all week and you're thinking, God, what's going to happen? But welcome in. Again, I say to my friends, welcome in, my friend. Welcome into this show. Welcome into many, many more. Remember, like, subscribe, join the family, because this is the pre-game. Wrexham AFC taking on Exeter City. Yeah, third, taking on ninth. The Dragons, the Red Dragons, taking on the Grecians. And the Grecians, there's many stories about how you got the name. If you're a Grecians fan, I want to know from you. How did you get the Grecians name? Because apparently I've read so many different stories, more than that, I don't really know which one's which. I want a Grecians fan to tell me one-on-one, 100%, how you got the name. Welcome into the show, guys. Like and subscribe. Look, and now really take a good look at the menu. This is where we're going. Welcome in. I tell you, it's welcome, but we got lots to get through. We got a lot of stuff really planned out for this one, and I tell you, Exeter and Wrexham, I see a tough game. I see a really tough game. As we're going through, you know what? It's 208 minutes, I think, in my mind, since Exeter got scored on Wrexham. Yeah. So a couple of more points before we move along. We're going to go to the highlights before we go anywhere else, and that is the highlights from Stockport and Wrexham next. But before we get there, a couple of stats. And hey, Exeter fans, listen up, because this might be scary. But some stats for you on the board. Wrexham's season stats on the board: 8 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses, 22 goals scored, 11 against for plus 11. That's 62%. Pretty heavy, hey? But wait for the home news. And Wrexham fans are loving this, because talk about entertaining football. Well, have a butchers and keep your ears wide open, Exeter fans, because this doesn't get much better. But at home, 7 games in on the season so far, 6 wins, 1 draw, no losses. They don't need one now. 16 scored, 4 against, plus 11 for 91%. 91%. That's nigh on bloody perfect. Okay. So now let's take a look at the last time Wrexham played. There's a couple of things that I'm highlighting here that are going to be pretty obvious. Yeah. Game starts bad for Wrexham. Louis Barry, I pointed him out as the danger man, bangs one in, and Callum can't get close to it. Have another look. What a great goal by Louis Barry. Unbelievable. Ball comes in, double save now. Callum, 1 bang, 2 instant bang. Hold your head, Stockport. It's not going in. Unbelievable. Double save. Callum Burton. James now floats one in. Elliot Lee gets on the end of it, and Paul can't get there. And that's the name of the game for Wrexham on the road last weekend. We were thereabouts, but couldn't break them down, and everything we tried pretty much ended up like this: blocked and kicked out of the box. So there you go, Stockport and Wrexham on the road last week. Try, second half, couldn't get it done. But you have to say, Callum Burton, first game for Wrexham, was outstanding. Arthur, you've got competition, my son. If you don't bring your A game, I'm sure Phil can now bench you. Yes, you might be our starting number 1. But Callum Burton has England international youth experience in his background. He's not that old. So anyway, Arthur's got competition. That's great for Wrexham. Now here's some points before we get to the next highlights. And the next highlights is Exeter taking on Lincoln from last weekend. But here's the deal. Wrexham at home. The next 3 games are at home. The next 4 out of 5 are at home. Listen to this. First game, as we are having it right now, you got Exeter City in 9th coming into the racecourse ground. Straight after that, you got Lincoln City. Yeah, they're in 6th. Then it's Barnsley at the moment in 5th. Pretty tough, eh? Top 10 teams, but 6th and 5th. Whoa, battling for promotion, battling for a playoff spot. Yeah. Then it's on the road at Burton Albion, yeah, 23rd in the league, so a little bit of a chance of a road win there, which is rare. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, Wrexham fans. And then to finish that, Cambridge United, the 5th game, 4 out of 5, back at the racecourse ground. Currently, they're 22nd in the league, yeah? So that's what you got cooking. I'm saying this is a chance for Wrexham to solidify 3rd spot, really solidify 3rd spot and make it theirs. And maybe put a bridge between the top three and the chasing pack, yeah? Top three being Wycombe, Birmingham, and Wrexham. And let them three duke it out and see who ends up on top. Because I'm sure this is going to be a fantastically memorable League One season. Okay, moving on. Take a look at the highlights from last weekend. Yep. Exeter City and Lincoln. You'll see what I've chosen to highlight because it makes so much sense coming into this one. Wrexham fans, there's a guy highlighted here. If he stands on his head, we got issues. Take a look. Oh dear. I tell you what, I'm having too much fun. I really am. I'm having too much fun getting ready for this game. I hope you are too. But highlighting from those highlights, yeah, Exeter Lincoln. And by the way, Lincoln probably should have won that game. They were in white, if you didn't know. They should have won that game. But Wrexham fans, Joe Whitworth in goal stood on his head for Exeter. And I'm sure Exeter fans are loving it right now that I'm praising him. But the sad fact about those highlights as well is that Ryan Woods, he collected a yellow card on 66, and then sadly he gets the red card on 90 minutes, really that late in the game. And here's the thing, 12 games in with Exeter, he's part of that team. He's part of that midfield. For me, he's very instrumental and important. He's a ball winner and he can make things happen. He's also scored a goal in those 12 games. So I think that's a big miss in the psyche and the play and the family of Exeter. And I think that tactically, Phil Parkinson from Wrexham need to execute on there, because I'm sure Gary Caldwell from Scotland, the Exeter coach, he's going to have no problems filling that spot, but Ryan Woods is part of that team. And I'm sure that's going to be a bit of a miss. What I want us to do now is I want us to take a look at the league games coming up this weekend and Tuesday. And by the way, I won't be doing a game Tuesday, a pre-game Tuesday, because I'll be travelling. I've got a situation to get to. I can't really go into it, guys. It's a little bit on the private side, but not fun, I can tell you that. But I want us to look at the League One games and the top six for this weekend and Tuesday's games. If you didn't know, there's another round of games Tuesday coming up. There's 9 games on Tuesday. There's 12 games on Saturday. That should tell you everything. Take a look with me right now at the league structured games this weekend and Tuesday. Okay, let's get into the games this weekend. And I say to both sets of fans, there's games coming Tuesday as well on this reel. Stay tuned. Let's get into this weekend's games. There are Saturday's games. Remember, guys, we stick to the top 6 each week. Second place Birmingham City on the road at Shrewsbury Town. You got to expect a win there. Come on, let's be honest. Fifth place Barnsley take on Wigan Athletic. Wigan don't cough up much. They don't score much. Take Barnsley for 3 points. Stockport County in fourth. Travel to Burton Albion. Take Stockport to get something again. And we have an all top 6 battle coming off at Lincoln City versus Wycombe Wanderers in first. You know, is Wycombe going to get something there? Lincoln in 6th, tough nut to crack. And finally, Wrexham AFC in 3rd, taking on Exeter City in 9th. I'm looking for a home win. It's going to be another tough game. Now, looking at Tuesday's games on the 26th of November, straight away, 5th place Barnsley, a home game against Reading. I reckon Barnsley's got a chance at another home win. Second place Birmingham take on Exeter City, another road game for Birmingham. I expect a tough battle, and maybe Exeter City can get something out of this one. And we have another top 6 battle. Third place Wrexham taking on Lincoln City in 6th. This is going to be tough. Could go either way, but Wrexham are looking for another 3 points. And finally, Wycombe Wanderers in 1st. Got a tough game coming up against Mansfield Town. This isn't going to be straightforward. You would expect Wycombe to get something here, but Mansfield will pose problems. Let's get back on screen. So there's the games. That's what I'm thinking. And I feel the top 6 may not be the top 6 in 2 games' time as it is right now. As long as Wrexham hold on to third and start to add some points with home form, then we're going to have a repeat season of last year. It's on. It really is on. But we've got to have the results at the racecourse ground and pick up points on the road as well. 977, somebody said earlier in the year. If the name comes to me, I'll put it out there. But before we get to the next point, which is the head-to-head, I've got some talking points for you. First thing is, Wrexham didn't score in 2 of the last 5 games. That was Stockport, the 1-0 loss just, and Huddersfield with the 0-0. Within the camp, within the fan base, within the news bead, and everywhere else and around the world, apparently there's a big search on for a striker for Wrexham. Well, if it's going to happen, and it probably will, it's going to be January. Here's the point, though. In the next 3 games, I want a question too before we get to what I'm going to say next. 3 games, how many points are we picking up? Is it 9 out of 9, 7 out of 9, 6 out of 9? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? But before we get there, there's a certain thing called goals that make points happen. It's great defence, absolutely. And Wrexham and Exeter showed great defence right through this. I mean, face it, neither team is leaking goals, 8 and 10, yeah? So that says it all. But what I want to point before we get to the next phase is Paul Mullin. Paul Mullin needs service to get the ball in the back of the net. In the last few games, he hasn't really had the service. In the last few games, he really hasn't hit the ground with 90 minutes. So it's not firing correctly. But I just want to highlight one thing. For Paul Mullin to do his job, to ply his trade, to be SPL as everybody knows him, he's got to get the service. He's got to be in the right place to receive the ball. Chasing it long ball city ain't going to happen. Once in a blue moon, we see Moles get the ball on the wing, cut inside from the defender, and fire in a rocket. And you know, guys, it doesn't happen every bloody day. So I'm saying this. He needs the service to make it happen. More poignantly, form is temporary. Class is permanent. Before we go to the highlights, moving on, I've got to say stats and stories with the head-to-head. Gareth Ainsworth has been inserted as Shrewsbury Town's boss. His first game is this weekend. Who's it against? Birmingham City. Oh, yes. What a great place to start. Take a look at the stats and stories with me right now. Let's dive into their head-to-head. Come on, let's go. Yes, let's get into the head-to-head, guys. And I tell you what, if you haven't been here before, press pause on any of these images to give yourself a little bit longer. But let's get into the head-to-head. The head-to-head coming at you right now. Going to play this differently, yeah? Going to tease you a bit more. But who do you think's bossing this? I'm going to give you the first half of this one. 1, 2, 3. Well, Wrexham has 11 wins. 1, 2, 3. There's 13 ties. 1, 2, 3. And there's 11 for Exeter City. So it's a level pegging, level right across the board. Let's get into some of the great stuff now. Historical games between these two. But yes, it's even Stevens, head to head. There's your first game, 1909, FA Cup, a 1-1 draw. First win for Wrexham was 2-1, 1960, 51 years later. But the first loss was a second game back in 1909. You remember, right? Yeah, the 2-1 loss back in 1909 in the FA Cup. Yep. That was the first loss. The bad day, the worst day for Wrexham was there in 1993, a 5-1 loss. Exeter just trounced Wrexham on the day. And the best day was 2002, where Wrexham trounced them back with 4-0. Now, looking at the last 5, pretty interesting this is. Let's take a look at the last 5 right now. There you go. That's 4 of them. I'm going to give you the last one in a second or two. Don't panic. But just to draw this out a little longer and tease you even more, there's 4 of the last 5. And the final one, bragging rights. Who's got bragging rights since 2003? Yes, 21 years ago. It's Exeter City. Let's get back on screen. Hope you enjoyed that. So, moving along, my friend, we're going to talk about the prediction. What I think is coming along. When I make this prediction, it's because I see what I see in my crazy brain of many years of watching this crazy game. Because what I see is 2-1 to Wrexham, and that's not to hurt Exeter fans, City fans' hearts. I know you're capable of grabbing a road win. You've done it on the road this year so far. There's no problem there. But I'm seeing this as a true to form Exeter City weakness. And what that is that in the 5 losses so far on the road this season, you lost 2-0 once, but you lost 2-1 cuatro, 4 times, mal, 4 times. So I'm saying 2-1 to Wrexham. Yes, 2-1. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And I tell you what, it's not to piss you off. It really isn't. And yes, again, I'm having too much bloody fun. But I hope you are too, right? I mean, come on. Third in League One, yeah? Getting close to mid of the season. I'd say after these 5 games, both teams, but more so Wrexham is where I'm going with this one. You'll know exactly where you are. And let's face it, what is not to love about this season? 3 losses on the season? Oh, big wow. Out of the FA Cup? Brilliant. Yes. Couldn't be better. Focus on the league. And hey, pick up a striker in January. No Jack. Hey, things are good. Things are good. Now, talking about the game. And 2-1, yes, that's what I see. As I do each week, Exeter fans, get ready. This is Wrexham first, then you're up next. And believe you me, you're going to enjoy what I tell you about Wrexham and what you know about your own team, but maybe what you don't know, because I give you a different story. And hey, 2-1 is where I'm sticking. That's where my money is this weekend. And on the season, Wrexham fans will tell you, I don't lead you much astray. If Exeter win on the road, it will be a flat performance by Wrexham, and it will be by the 1 goal. And it could be the reverse score 2-1. I doubt it, because Exeter don't score that many, yeah? And they have had a 3-2 win at Bristol Rovers this season, I do believe. But I don't see that repeating itself. Do you? Grecians fans? Red Dragons fans? What are you telling me? Come on. And I know who you are. You know who I am. Wrexham fans, give me some love. Tell me what you're thinking down below. Now, here's the thing. Starting with the Wrexham. This time last year, third in League Two after, get this, a smacking, a lovely win over Notts County, and that was Elliot Lee in the 74th minute, Ollie Palmer 76th minute, bang, bang, 2 quick goals. It was done and dusted, and sadly, Notts County couldn't reply. Right now, third on 28 points after 15 games. Not shabby, like I just told ya. Home form, 6-1-0, 16-4. That's the goals. 19 points collected out of 21 for 91%. I've got to tell you that again because it's massive, massive, 91%. Last game, a 1-0 loss against Stockport County on the road, where a draw would have been fair, is what I'm saying. By the way, massive, massive support on the road for Wrexham. Red Dragons fans, I tell you what, man, honestly, outrageously loud at times, but beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Last 5, not so great, but hey, 1-2-2. That's 1 win, 2 draws, 2 losses, because 4 games were on the road. 20%, by the way, is what that gets you. But that was 4 out of 5 away. And as you know, the next 3 at home, 4 out of 5 at home. So what was comes back, up is down. Hey, it all ends up and bounces out at the end of the season. Believe you me, Lady Luck and whatever is going to be happens. And it's all fair. It's all fair. These games, though, are time to hold on to third. Or maybe move even higher. But these 5 games are very important. Don't kid yourself. And Wrexham's got to play the Wrexham way. Full of confidence. Full of bravery, yeah? Every man has to be on his game to get the victory. A draw is where the start line is. But that's a 2-1 win. That's where I'm going with this. And Wrexham are the favourites to win. I tell you what, my friend, I work on this for quite some time between the games. And remember, there's no pre-game Tuesday because I will be travelling to a situation. But each week I do this. I love what I do because I love the team that we've got. And I love the journey that we're on. And I love the league that we're playing in. I certainly loved the National League when the more goals were flowing. But Wrexham stepped up a hell of a lot here. And the ownership is stepping up too. And each game is a test. It's a test of how far Wrexham's come and how far they still need to go. And you really need to ask yourself that. And the key virtue in all of this, with paying your way as a club, getting to the next level, getting the players to get you to the next level, it's all about patience and execution at the right time, as is every game. And in this game, patience and execution is what I want you to think about, because it's that Wrexham are going to have to get around Exeter. It's also one of the virtues of Exeter City when they're on the road, is having a lot of patience, because they have to wait for their chance. They haven't scored an abundance of goals, but they haven't given up a bucket either. So when you combine those two facts and these two teams, it's going to make for a fine game of football. And I say a fine game of football. I look for a tough game, not a nasty game, not a dirty game. And I think the referee's going to have an easy game to let this flow, because some referees don't know about blow. But I'm sure the ref and the linesman will have no problems here. At the end of 90 minutes, I do see a 2-1 for Wrexham. I really do. And I don't mean to be mean, but I've got to be honest. And that's what I am, Exeter fans. I'm honest to a core. I can't tell you a lie, because that's just who I am. So, get ready for kickoff. Click your set on. Let yourself go. Both sets of fans. Enjoy the moment, because I know I will, like I do every game. And like I say, this is so much fun because I'm doing it for us, and we're not monetized. We don't do this for dinero, cash, Geld, money. We're doing this for us, so we got a channel. Remember, there's a World Cup coming in 2026. I'm going to be there. So where else would you want to waste more time than here? Yeah. Wrexham, Exeter, the racecourse ground. Let's have it. Cheers.